gateway is perfectly fine. So it's good stuff. So next we will need our load balancer. And as you can see here in the catalog, the deprecated one's called HLB. Make sure you don't use that one. You want to get the new good one called HALB. There you go. Just stick that in there. And now we'll pull a couple web servers. In our other application, which is right here, these two servers, as you can see, don't have the default generic names. These two have been configured to work slightly different than the ones that you pull out of the system catalog. But these should work fine for now. I guess what we'll have to pull is the web servers. Otherwise, now you could, or you may be thinking, hey, load balancer, I could pull the generic servers out. And you could, but then you'll run into a problem where the load balancer uses the X forwarded packet or something like that. I'll have to look it up later. You guys can take a look in the comments, or maybe I'll update them later on. I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's X forwarded packet. But essentially what that does, it forwards it through onto the web servers, and then that way when you go and look at your web server logs, you see the actual real client's IP address instead of seeing the IP address of the gateway. So that's why you don't want to use any sort of generic server, or you can use a generic server as long as you hack it so that it pulls in the correct X forwarded forward packet. So it's something to keep in mind when you do go to set this up. Alright, so we got two web servers. Now we will need a database server. We can't do much without a database of some sort or another. And I'm not entirely sure which one we did on here, so let's take a look. Alright, so I think what we want to do is we'll just put this in here. There we go. We'll have to make some volumes for it. Okay, so all that's good stuff. So we'll go on and create our NAS appliance so we can do some volumes. And we don't really want to replicate our NAS data. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so there's our NAS appliance. We'll have to create some volumes in here. Okay, now through the magic of television, we're back, and I added in all the names of the volumes that we need to create, and already went ahead and started setting up some volumes. So now we're just going to go on and make the rest of these, and that way we'll have to make them later. So if you do plan to make the full application, might as well go ahead and make these as well. And this also just kind of shows you how easy it is to make volumes. Alright, so now we've got all of our volumes, I think. Yeah. Important to check to make sure you have all your volumes down. That way when you need them, hopefully they'll all be there. Alright, so that's all of our volumes. Now we'll go on and start assigning these to where they need to go. then you go on and save that and just get your volume set up. And now comes the next fun little part here. So we'll kind of reorganize these. We don't need the space later on. We'll stick that down there. Make sure our other viewers will be able to see this as well. Yep. Okay. Make sure it wasn't too high up. So here we're going to set. So again, this is your gateway. So this is for someone put your website name in or the IP address in. This is where it's going to run through, is this gateway. And then we'll do web to the in right there. And just do some connections there. Like so. And then we'll hook everything up to our NAS appliance. Hopefully. There we go. And let's see, other UI. Alright, okay, great. So that doesn't need to be hooked into this just yet. So it should be fine. We can balloon this, which is kinda cool too. And that way you don't have all this stuff taking up your space. So, and we do need an out gateway. Some people call it an out gateway, some people call it a net gateway. And the correct gateway that we want to use is the net gateway. You don't want to use that one. And this is pretty easy to configure. You just want to plug in your IP address and then all of your other network info. So that's pretty simple there. Then once you have all that plugged in, all I did was connect the net interfaces from our 2 servers to the net interface here. And then the other part that you guys missed here is you'll need to add in another volume. You need to add in a volume, name it content. I made it 10 gigs. This is the volume that the web servers will use. On my web servers and the other application that we made, we set up the web servers to run off the NAS appliance, kind of through a different configuration. But for this demo, just go ahead and create your content volume, and then you want to configure these so that they use it. So all you do is go in here and just set it. Just set both of these to content. Now I went ahead and renamed these as well. So all I have to do is just type in whatever name you want to call them in here. The other thing we changed for right now, just to test the rest of our application before we dive into setting up a replicated MySQL system, is I deleted the replicated MySQL. So if you haven't deleted appliances yet, you just want to left click on it once, then you hit the delete key on the keyboard, and that's the easiest way, because I don't think there's any clickable option to delete it. So just hit the delete key, there you go, problem solved. And then I pulled out MySQL 5 here, and then we went on and configured it. And for that, all I have to do is give it a volume. And I just set it to DB1 MySQL R for now. We're just going to kind of use it as a placeholder to make sure the rest of our setup works. Then all you want to do is just use the DB connectors and connect it in. Alright, so once you get your application set up so that it looks roughly like this, then you just want to hit save, like so, and then we can go on and start it up. Alright, there you go. Now you can see our application has started successfully. If this didn't start successfully, you would see you'd get a message here saying it failed to start. Alright. So we'll go to the IP address of our application, and there we go. You can see it works.